Hi Andrew, I watch your videos and I see you want to buy a Prevost. I have a couple for sale if you're interested. They're here in Palmdale, California. Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we're going to California. This guy's got an 88 country coach and a 92 marathon coach. He wants $45,000 for the country coach and $85,000 for the marathon coach. What do you guys think? Do you think this could be a new coach for me? Let's head to California and check these out. Looks like the sun's kind of coming up. It's starting to get light out. It's still a little bit early here, but this is what it's all about. There's only so many minutes in a day, and I try to be as productive as possible, and sometimes that means, or most of the time, that means waking up before 5 a.m. So feeling real good. A little after 6 a.m. I got everything completed that I need to. Now I just got to top off some fuel. I think Sadie Lady wants to go for a walk. Seriously, the slowest gas pump I've ever encountered. We're barely to 20 bucks and it's already been 3 minutes. I can tell because I've had the camera going. 3 minutes. Great gas station, really nice and clean. I'll definitely give them 5 stars for that. The slowest pumping gas I've ever experienced. Okay, Sadie Lady is definitely ready for a walk. I haven't had breakfast yet and I cracked. I'm going to McDonald's here. They got this double drive-through deal and it's always so hard at what lane you're gonna choose. You want to get through this as fast as possible, but I have to say there's nothing worse than choosing the wrong lane and then having someone else get in front of you. That really sucks if the person ahead of you doesn't order as quickly as the people in the other lane here. We'll see how this works out for me. I chose the left lane and I'm already feeling like it might have been the wrong one. The guy in the red Tacoma, I think he's gonna be able to order before me. This is exactly what I was talking about. I chose the wrong lane and I bet you this guy in the red Tacoma is gonna beat me. You win some, you lose some. If that's the biggest problem I got, I'm doing really good. And it's all about how quickly you can order too. I try to always be really efficient, really clear. Yeah, can I get an Egg McMuffin meal with an iced vanilla coffee, please? I have a lot of respect for fast food employees. A lot of people really are jerks to fast food employees. Oh, dude, he's already ordering. And ladies and gentlemen, I just got beat in the McDonald's line. Now the worst of the worst is if that Grand Cherokee beats me too. That would not be cool. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. It doesn't even matter how quickly and efficiently I ordered. Sometimes you choose the wrong lane in life. But it's all good. Everything happens for a reason. As soon as I get some breakfast in me here, I'm gonna explain some pretty good RV information. I have a lot of stuff I want to talk about here. Thank you. Hey, I want to talk to you guys about how to find a good deal on an RV. One thing I've learned being around RVs and being around people buying and selling RVs, I'm always learning more and more. And there is no better way to understand the value of an RV than to go see it, touch it, feel it, smell it. So many people out there that just shop on internet price. People are just so focused on price. I'll call it the Walmart mentality. And I'm guilty of it myself. I'm grinding RV salesman based on internet prices and comparing it to different values of other RVs that are out there, that all I'm seeing of is pictures. And over the last year and a half that I've had this YouTube channel going, I have seen a huge difference in the quality and how well something's been maintained. And I think that's something that people forget when they're looking at values of a coach. There's two Prevosts for sale. This gentleman has a 1992 Marathon coach and a 1988 country coach. The 92 Marathon coach he wants $85,000 for, and the country coach he wants $45,000 for. Now, I know a lot of you are probably thinking $45,000 for a Prevost, that is a heck of a deal. Jump on it and buy it. Where do I send the money? Well, I digged a little bit deeper, and the seller was totally transparent with me. The 88 did have some sort of a fire. Kyle, what's good, buddy?
What's up, Andrew Steele?
Man, just cruising through the wildfire area here right now. Man, I can see smoke. I'm looking at windmills and smoke. Didn't realize I was gonna have to drive right into these fires to look at these buses.
Be safe out there. You should have your own private bus, your private driver going through conditions like that.
Buddy, I definitely agree with you. That's definitely a conversation we're going to need to have in the near future here. Wanted to ask you a couple questions. I'm going to check out two buses right now. One's an 88 and one's a 92. The 88 is an XL with an 8V92. They both have 8V92s. The 88's a country coach, the 92's a marathon coach. The 88, he only wants 45 grand for it, but it had some sort of a fire around the generator, and the wiring harness is burned. And I'm wondering, am I crazy to get myself into a bus like this that needs this kind of work, or do you think that's something you could tackle? And if you could tackle it, the amount of money I'm going to have to spend with you, is it going to be worth it to get this thing repaired?
Right. So is the wiring harness bad on the generator, or the wiring harness bad for the coach side?
I'm going to have to look at that, but can you give me two scenarios if depending on which one I find?
Well, if it's the generator, you can just run all new. Oh, hold on, Steele. I got my deck calling me. Give me 1 sec, buddy.
Yeah, no problem. But wiring harness, it might be the wiring harness on the generator, and it might be the wiring harness for the coach. I mean, I know these are like very loose questions, and obviously you have to see it to get a hard number. But like, have you seen either of these scenarios in your history?
Oh yeah, totally. I think you'll be better off if it's the wiring harness on the generator, because we can just rip the old one off and do a whole brand new harness on the generator, and that's going to be your best bet right there for, you know, I don't know, $1,000 or whatever time and labor, depends how bad it is. But if it's the coach side, it could be, you know, several thousand, depending on how far back we have to trace the wires, and if we have to go all the way back to the engine bay, or if we have to go all the way to the front J box. I'd have to see that, but once you get there, send me some photos and videos, then we can look at it.
Okay, I'll take a look at it. I mean, what's the worst, like for the engine? I know that salvage title you have. Did the wiring harness on that bus burn? When, you know, this is a long time ago, but did that?
Yeah, the whole engine caught on fire in there. So it was done before I actually did it. I bought it shortly after the engine was put in, but I guess it went to Prevost, and Prevost actually wired the whole back compartment, put a whole new engine trans in and all that stuff, and there's literally no signs of any fire whatsoever in that coach, so you can't even tell that it ever was a salvage. Basically the only reason why it was salvage is because an insurance company wrote a check on it, so they make it a salvage on the title, obviously.
I get it. And then, I mean, to do a whole new wire, I know the Series 60 and the 8B92 are probably going to be different prices, but what would that be to like fix a wiring harness and put a whole new 8B92? I don't know if you've ever even done that. You've probably done more with the Series 60. Any idea if it's a whole new engine that needs to be replaced? Ballpark?
No, probably not, but if you had to put a whole new engine, I would just repower it and put a Series 60 in it and do away with the 8B92. The problem with the 8B92s are that getting parts and finding people to work on them. The good thing about Series 60 is if you break down anywhere in the country, it's generally the same engine that's in tons of trucks as well. So you can find a truck mechanic to kind of hook up to it and go to any Detroit diesel shop that truck or bus related. That's why I like Detroit. They're both Detroit, but that's why I like the Series 60.
Have you seen them able to put a Series 60 into an older XL Prevost? Is there enough room for that? Have you ever seen that done?
I've never seen it. I've heard about it, and I presume there's probably enough room, but I don't know. I guess you could always go with a Series 50 worst case.
A Series 50, which is a newer version, a smaller version of the Series 60?
Well, it's not newer. It's the same as a 60, but it's got one less cylinder in it.
Okay. Huh. That's a good, any idea, full engine replacement? I know you got to get going to the vet here. I appreciate your time. I know that you said about 25 grand, plus if the engine wiring harness burned up, what do you think I'd be looking at to put a Series 50 if I have to replace a new engine and a wiring harness to the engine?
Probably 30, 40 grand, I would assume, depending on a core.
Okay, 30, 40 grand. And then a full interior remodel, 50 grand, you think?
Yeah, we're gonna do that Italian, from the quarry, the only one quarry in the world, Italian tile or Italian porcelain or marble, Italian marble from an island in Italy.
It's gotta be
$100,000 floor, right?
I need floors that are from a rock quarry that's in the mountains of whatever a real bowling town in Italy is. That's the ones that I need. No, like what you do in your entertainer buses. I've seen some of the conversions you've done. Obviously, you've got to be cost effective in those. Like, what's a pretty decent kind of overhaul, like what you do on your entertainers? 40, 50 grand right there?
Yeah, I mean, just fully go through it, and obviously an 88 or 92 is going to have some old electronics in it. If it hasn't already been updated, it's going to have, you know, probably tape players in it and VHS players and stuff like that, which I think we probably want to update all that stuff.
Yeah, obviously stripping out all that, it might need new inverters, or it's probably going to need new inverters. And kind of an overhaul on the electrical system. What is that? I mean, without doing any, like, all I need is like Wi-Fi, and I don't even need any TVs. I'd do everything from a tablet or a laptop without doing any aftermarket electronics, just getting the bones where it's newer inverters and a newer electrical system, and update that. And I don't know how extensive it can get, but rough ballpark, what I'm looking at for like new inverters, kind of updating all of that.
It could go, depending on 1, 2 inverters, how much all hooked up, if it runs your air conditioning, if it does, you know, this, that, and how much power you actually need. We can go from 5 grand to 20 grand, depending on how intensive the labor is on it.
it can get pretty expensive. It can get to $100 grand really quickly to kind of bring this bus back to life without even doing the paint. And that's something that can range all the way from a cheapy 20K paint job to $150,000 Dean Laux paint job.
Have an 88 or 92 with Dean Laux, right?
Yeah, the paint job would be worth more than the bus. But hey, I've seen people do that kind of stuff before. I've seen crazier things. So we need to get Dean to paint one of your tour buses and charge like an extra fee for a special tour bus. So.
Or get Dean Laux to paint the Selena bus.
Hey, and now we're talking. I know that needs a paint job for sure. So that GMC will get real expensive real quick. But you're super busy with customer coaches. Any other advice on stuff I should look for? Obviously, I'm going to check the date codes, all the stuff we've talked about in the past. Anything else I should look for on these buses?
I mean, ultimately, if you really want to know what the engine's doing, you can get an oil sample on it, and then you'll know if there's any contaminants in the oil. It'll tell you, you know, if there's any metals in there and what's coming loose, if there is anything. Like, that's not a horrible idea for people to do from time to time.
So where would I get an oil sample? If I want to get an oil sample, if I'm able to like siphon a little bit of oil out of the oil reservoir, or how do you go about doing that?
Generally, the best time to do it is when you're draining your oil. You can just drain a little into a cup, or give whatever mechanic you have doing your change in there, or you can actually pump it out of the engine, but you got to get a special oil pump to do it out of the dip tube or out of the fill tube. There's multiple ways, but it's not very expensive to actually get your oil tested. It's like, I don't know, 10 or 20 bucks, I think, is what they charge.
Do you test people's oil, or do you know someone that you send it to, or how does that work?
Yeah, there's a company in Arizona that does it that a lot of guys use. It's in a whole nother step, but if you're buying a coach and they're telling you, hey, we put a brand new engine in it, and you look at it and it doesn't look like it's a new engine. Well, you can know right away by pulling an oil sample and there's contaminants in it and there's metal shavings, and you know something's coming loose.
Yeah, that's great advice, brother. I appreciate that.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's set it up, and maybe we can announce that we're going to do it on a particular day or something, so people know when it is, so it's not just super spontaneous.
Okay, yeah. So guys, that part that I just talked to Kyle is going to get edited out, but Kyle and I are going to be going live for a huge announcement. Kyle, any hype you want to give the YouTube subscribers, buddy?
Yeah, they can hop on, ask all the good questions, all the juicy questions, right?
Yeah, ask a bus mechanic. You can get Kyle live while he's under the gun, no editing. So that's going to be in the next week or so. So keep an eye out for that. I greatly appreciate you taking the time, dude. I'll let you know what I see on these buses and stuff. I'll send you some pictures and stuff. So.
Cool, man. Where are you going? California?
Palmdale, California, buddy. You want to buy an XL? Any XLs, or you're XL2 only?
No, I'll do XL. I love XLs. That's what that Hoffman is that I got. It's an XL, but I predominantly like the Series 60s. But if you don't end up picking up one of them, let me know. I might know a couple people that are interested.
Deal, bud. Well, dude, thanks for your time, man. I appreciate it. We'll definitely be in touch. I'll let you know what I see on these buses.
Thanks, buddy. Be safe.
I think Miss Sadie lady needs somewhere to go to the bathrooms. This is kind of a funky kind of little spot to stop here. Afraid of a project coach. I think that it would be really good YouTube content to buy an older coach that needs a bunch of work, get the work done, or do the work myself and film it. There's a lot of the car YouTube guys that have been really successful doing those kinds of projects, and people really like to see things kind of being brought back to life. I know the home remodel shows I've always found really intriguing, and I've always been really fascinated by RV remodels. I thought it might be a fun idea to go buy a Prevost for 45 grand, update it, and have some good YouTube content, and then have a cool Prevost bus that if I can get into the shell for 45 grand, you know, how much can I spend to bring this Prevost back to life? So the only way to know is to go touch it, feel it, see it. But now this is something too that I've been doing for other people as well. I can only handle so many people that I can consult for, because it takes a little bit of time away from making these YouTube videos, but it's something that I really do enjoying. And one service that I have been offering is, if your time is extremely valuable and you want to find the right RV and you want to know what you're getting into, I am willing to travel to inspect RVs, take a look at them. Now, I'm not a certified technician. I definitely always recommend to have a certified technician inspect all of the mechanics, the chassis, the systems, and how everything works. But there's also a lot to be said that a mechanic may not say, what does the coach smell like? Look at all of the little gaps of the interior build. How well has it held up? Just a lot of stuff to look for. I do charge $100 an hour for my time. It definitely can get really expensive RV shopping, paying me $100 an hour, but when you get into these $1 million, $2 million buses, paying me $5 grand or something to go on a trip and inspect a handful of coaches may not be a bad investment, because I'm going to see little things. If there's some major red flags before we even have to spend, it's usually about $500 to get a good chassis inspection. Now, there's people that inspect the house, the RV side of the build as well, and that's different. So you're going to have two different inspections: a chassis inspection and then an RV inspection. Definitely very important, and I definitely recommend having done before buying any RV. And that's one thing I'm doing. So right now I'm driving to just inspect these coaches before I get my wheels turning and my mind too much. Thought it'd be good to run out here to Southern California and see what we're getting into. Looks like we found a couple Prevosts out here, guys. I'm going to take a look at these two and make a couple more videos about this. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss those. I greatly appreciate all of you liking these videos and subscribing to the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Thanks again.